Et bonjour à tous, on est de retour sur Eternal Strands. Ça va être une session un peu plus courte aujourd'hui, mais je voulais avancer quand même un peu.
How are you feeling about our talk with Sev?
Surprisingly good. If there's one thing I know, it's when people are really listening. And that young man knows how to listen. He'll do what's right.
Something's been bothering me about the loom gates.
You're going to ask how I got to your camp without connecting you to Cassidon's.
Yes. I've been reconnecting all the gates as I discover them.
We developed a way to move through the gates without a permanent connection. When Asylum activated, it severed every loom gate, cut off the Surgeborn, which gave us a huge edge. But the scouts needed to move around without opening paths for them, so the High Enchanter did their thing.
Is that why the hold's still cut off from the other gates?
It took a lot to convince the Council to even allow a connection here. Bryn, have I ever told you you're a genuinely impressive person?
Thanks. What brought that on?
Oria told me the story about you joining the band. Sounds like your last one was awful, but you stuck with it.
In comparison, joining Oria's group was like that first nice day after a brutal winter.
That's probably more relatable if I grew up in a mountain pass, huh?
No feeling like it. Temperatures that would have felt awful in autumn feel like a summer's day. And there's this endless, soft, watery trickle of everything melting.
Sounds incredible. Think you'll go back?
That's an academic question. We've got no way out. But I'd like to stay a while. If things ever calm down. Perhaps explore this place more.
So long as you're sure you'd be happy. Reasonable. You have a long road ahead of you before that becomes a pressing question. My teams have started to deploy with the recovered gear from the Institute. Like a pebble starting a rock slide. Each team's able to clear more, recover more, and with that gear, we send more teams. Only downside is that the Eyes got us on a priority hunt for some really esoteric resources. True to form, he won't tell us why. Just, you'll be informed of the purpose when the time is correct, Arik.
From what I've gathered, your teams were wearing their gear thin. Outfitting them seems more important.
It's bigger than that. There's infrastructure breaking down all around the hold. If the people can't eat, soon enough there won't be anything left to defend. Not that the Eye will care. He'll make sure he has a full plate to the end. Regardless, we'll do the best we can. And I heard you and Solar confronted Sev in the hold. Everything, go well?
Sola did most of the talking. Handled it well. And then she used his full name to make her point.
Oof, poor guy. Well, whatever's happening, it's got the Eye excited. He's been moving supplies to the Grand Gate, and Sev's been seen down there too. It's a loom gate large enough for the Great Arcs. I'm still not sure why. He's seconded some enchanters and crafters and sworn them to secrecy. They basically live in a camp down there.
Might be trying to repair it. Sev has a knack for understanding how to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, but why? It bothers me. No one seems to know except the Eye.
Meilleur avec ses louches.
think we can call that as close as we're going to get.
I agree. Good news, Arik. It's likely your caravan didn't leave.
You're sure?
Reasonably. We know which caravan was carrying a sealed case of two scries from the Keep records.
There's no log of it departing, and the logs were quite consistent, up to the surge.
And the Axel had several older drovers who told stories of caravans that lost control of their beasts in the panic. More than a few, sadly, pitched their entire caravan into the newly formed fissure in the lower city.
The runners would have recovered anything that important years ago were it still by the gate.
Suggesting the scries might have gone over the edge. Bryn, I hate to ask, but
I can take a look. Absolutely.
just be careful. The tangles get thick down there.
Ever since we learned of the verdant mines, I haven't been able to stop thinking about them. They were clearly well-resourced in regards to both labor power and knowledge. And they had an extremely intimate knowledge of the Enclave's technology. But do you know who was around to see their rise and fall, but hasn't spoken a word about it?
Cassidon's Hold's biggest ass?
The very same. I just think it's interesting how he's kept quiet about it. Don't you?
I don't expect much from him.
I don't know if he was involved with the events surrounding the Verdant Mine's attempt to take down the Veil, but he certainly bore witness.
So what are you thinking?
I'd like to send you out on a fact-finding mission for now. Meanwhile, I'll pore over my existing research for clues.
Gotcha. I'll be back when I found everything you're after.
Thanks, Bryn. I'll get to work here too.
Bien, on s'est reparti avec plein de missions. Ouais, on va peut-être aller faire la principale. On peut me débloquer des améliorations. Pour oublier de le flatter sur sa tête.
Well, that did something.
Effectivement.
I should go check with the Axel that it worked. Hope I'm not interrupting anything with her and Spindle.
Ah, c'est vrai, on était là-dessus. Bon, à cette heure, je peux pas y retourner, donc je retourne voir campement. Ce que je vais faire autre chose. Upper, Bastion, Lower. Hello, Pyre, Rise. Lui. Je te replace. Ok, ici, il y avait-tu d'autres upper? Non. Lower. Don't mind me. Non, tu me mines pas mal. Ouais, ok, c'est beau. Bro. Man. Ok, là, t'es persistant un petit peu. Ça va me faire plaisir. Est-ce qu'il fallait que je fasse ici? Tu candidate. Ok. Ils ont des nids à cette heure, même en haut. bien solide. I'm stuck. Merci. Oh, je trouve le papa.
Lane believes that a priest could have been Oria's father. I'd better look around.
Anything of note written inside?
From a quick skim, it details his vow to pledge himself to the first flame. And only the first flame.
Ah, I see.
I'll look elsewhere.
Sorry. Pas le bon. On trouve un autre. The hell is that? Don't know, don't care. Three Sister, je me rappelle de là. Market, Three Sister, Weaver Rest. Ici. Whoa! Surprise! Pas besoin de toi. Mais je sens que tu vas être dans mes jambes.
En train de faire une side quest où j'enquête sur des scammers qui vendent des faux T-phones.
Dans des faux téléphones.
Des faux T-phones au lieu de iPhones.
C'est correct. Mais là, vu que tu l'as dit.
La phrase s'arrête là.
C'est ça.
Alright.
Eh non, vu que tu l'as dit à cette heure.
Bring those back to camp.
Là, ma force va arrêter là.
Of course.
Alright.
Non, mais tu sais, vu que tu l'as dit, ils vont se faire poursuivre.
Je l'ai dit, là.
Ils vont se faire poursuivre parce que t'as montré à la grand écran que le scam puis la copie conforme du iPhone.
Ben non, c'est pas des iPhones, c'est des T-phones.
Les typhoons.
Pas la même chose.
C'est vrai.
En plus, c'est pas tant tactile, c'est... Comment on appelle ça, là, que tu peux les... genre, plier le top par-dessus. Hein. Des flips?
Les flip phones.
J'étais plus sûr si c'était ça le nom.
Ouais. mais
Des
ça-
flips dans ma tête, c'est tu fais juste le flipper, tu sais.
Ouais, pour le fermer, faut que
Techniquement, tu
flippes
flippes.
dans les airs.
Ouais, techniquement, tu flippes le top, là, effectivement. Parce que ça, c'est des flip phones plus qu'autre chose, là. Des flip phones aussi gros que ta main. Mais des flip phones.
Ça, je vais essayer ça.
De voler avec des ailes de raton laveur.
Dans mes plans, mais pas de suite.
Quoi?
Très intéressant. En toute ma mana, par contre. Permets-tu de me promener dans le feu? J'imagine que oui.
Ben, c'est simple. Brûle quelque chose puis marche dans le feu. Tu vas savoir.
C'est le boss que j'ai haï au plus haut point de ma vie, mais
Hier, qui arrêtait pas de te ramasser puis t'envoyer chier, là.
ouais. Parce que son sort, il est cool.
Hier, quand tu l'as eu, t'avais pas l'air si intéressé que ça, par contre.
Ouais, parce que je savais pas, je pensais que c'était un summon. Non, c'est moi qui me mets une armure de glace.
Ah.
Je peux exploser de la glace aussi.
Please tell me c'est du self-destruct pis ça te fait des dégâts.
Non. Merci
Damn
de
it.
penser à moi.
Ouais, je pensais à toi. Je pense à quel point ce serait un funny moment de te voir exploser dans de glace.
Très funny.
Yes.
J'ai pensé aux Reels que j'ai mis sur YouTube hier.
Oh boy.
De ma vidéo Ninja Gaiden. C'est parce qu'il y avait. Ok, je savais pas que ça allait faire ça. Et c'est juste que il y avait un computer allié, Sonia, qui était là. Puis on lui a dit reste là, nous on va aller continuer. J'étais à la fin du jeu, tu sais, je m'en vais vers le boss de la fin. Fait que dans ma tête, je me suis dit, je vais essayer. Fait que j'ai tiré une flèche dessus, je l'ai tué, j'ai eu game over.
You did a gab.
Ben, je pensais pas que ça allait passer.
You did a gab.
Habituellement, ça marche pas, attaquer les PNJ. Ils sont pas ennemis.
À cette heure, oui.
Here's something. Let's see. It seems to be information on Lucia's various projects. There are a lot of redactions here. Seems like someone was trying to hide something.
Bon, Three Sister à cette heure. Crevasse.
The Undergreen. This is where the seediest of deals were done.
Should be close to where the scry carrying caravan might have gone over the edge.
I'll have a look. Good news, Eric.
I can see. That's quite possibly our lost scries.
Will you be able to retrieve it?
Now that we've identified it, yes.
Aïe. Ok, Chris. Man, d'où c'est que tu me...
It's a report blaming the verdant mines for an explosion near the Vale. Supposedly, this explosion was the cause of the cyclical miasma floods. But we know that the floods were caused by a silo. This doesn't matter.
Jamais. Tu as hâte de rendre à la fin de ton jeu pour devoir parler à 45 personnes en même temps et puis dire bye bye?
Je pense pas qu'il y en ait autant que ça dans celui-là.
Ah non?
Non.
Chanceux.
Ben, c'est pas la culmination de 9 jeux comme l'autre. Je pense que c'est les prochains qui vont être quelque chose, par contre.
Il en annonce, ça annonce avoir beaucoup de monde.
Ben, de ce que j'ai lu, il va s'appeler genre quelque chose Kai, puis ça va être Goodbye aux Emuria, qui est le continent sur lequel il se trouve. Où est-ce que toutes les Legion of Heroes se trouvent?
Tout ça, c'est juste un continent.
Ouais.
Mais je vais voir, tu te promènes ailleurs.
Peut-être.
Faut que tu rencontres plus de monde.
I'll need to get these back.
Boy.
J'ai hâte qu'il ramène In the Sky. Là.
Ben, il y a le premier là, qui s'en vient.
Fait que j'imagine que les deux autres vont venir aussi.
Si le premier se vend bien, j'imagine que oui.
Pour moi, ils ont pas l'air d'avoir de la misère à vendre leur jeu.
Autant, non. Ils ont rajouté des fucking trailing missions dans des breaks 2.
see what we've got here. These all seem to be speeches that the eye delivered. These are dated 40 years ago, but I could still imagine him saying all of these things today. Have you taken a closer look at the glasses I found in the farmer's stand?
I can hardly believe it. My mother's craftwork is unmistakable. Enchanted to adjust with degrading vision.
So we found your father. Lane's notes mentioned his name was Eugenius Osphine.
I guess so.
I thought you'd be happy.
No, I am.
Aurea, what's really going on? Be honest.
I thought I came from a long line of weavers. Now... Never mind.
Aurea.
I need to be alone right now.
All those people, trapped in Cassidon's hold for nearly 2 decades. And everything they lived through before that. Must have been dreadful.
I can't believe we actually did it. It's been a pleasure working with your band. If we could match the drive and efficiency you all show, this place would be fixed in months.
You've been a support since we met, Arakim. I'm happy to work with you, especially if it helps us recover lost treasures.
We make a good team, Bryn. I'll get the runners on hauling that crate up and let you know when I know more.
So what did we find out? Any big revelations? What's wrong?
This isn't what I expected at all. I think you need to read this yourself.
Well, sure, but... Alright. This is one of Lucia's journals, right?
Yes.
I washed my hands of it, but they pressed onwards. He was fully aware of what I taught them, of course. What I'd taken from the Institute. And so, he let it happen. He knew they were going to try to pierce the veil, and now dozens are dead. He knew Vile, broke bread with them. But when they and the rest of the Verdant Minds went off to die, Kenrick just watched.
And now read this. A transcript of one of his speeches, delivered around the same time that journal entry was written.
We will root out these dissenter vermin at all levels of administration. Their ideology has claimed too many lives to be allowed to breathe free. In the meantime, to ensure peace and prosperity, martial law is in effect across remaining settlements. So he let the explosion happen. and used it for his own political gain. Wow. He's a real piece of work.
He didn't exactly engineer this, but he isn't innocent either. Then they unintentionally triggered a huge explosion, conveniently wiping themselves out in the process. And just like that, the Eye had a scapegoat on whom to blame the cyclical miasma floods. He used panic and fear to secure himself a spot as provisional leader. But everyone eventually forgot that provisional bit. I genuinely didn't expect this at all. I thought I'd find out that he'd just been mildly conniving all his life, not this.
So, what do we do about this then?
We need to confront him. He may be the Enclave's leader, but we can still take him to task on what he's covered up.
Wait, what? You really think that'll work?
Yes. I'll present him with our evidence, and he'll have to give us an explanation.
Det är som en idé så.
I'm open to the idea. But what makes you think he'll want to speak to us?
I'm confident in my powers of persuasion. I may be young, but a lifetime spent orbiting the seats of power in Judea. Well, let's just say that I know how to appeal to a politician's better judgment.
Well, I trust your judgment.
Excellent. I'll finish writing this dossier, and I'll meet you in Cassidon's Hold. Have faith.
It's not you who I'm lacking faith in. Trust me. Anyway, I'll see you at the Hold.
I won't be long.
Au pire, on va le blackmail.
Teams are already working on the recovery of that chest you found.
Think we'll get lucky and it'll be the Scries?
I'm allowing myself a glimmer of hope. All the research we did says it's possible.
I've been reading over those caravan logs you brought in when helping Arik.
A little light reading before bed?
They do help me sleep. You know how important that is. The Enclave had 3 secrets to their trade success. These logs are good insight into how they leveraged that.
And you would very much like to tell me about how they did it, right?
Yes, I do want to tell someone. So brace yourself. So, the 3 keys to their success, right? The first was no wars. The Enclave never fought. Instead, they made it clear with loom gates and the arcs that messing with them was tactically doomed.
So they could trade with everyone, even 2 nations at war with one another.
That was their second key. Unique products. The Enclave was the only place producing their enchantments. Try to declare a trade sanction against them for trading with your foe, and suddenly your foe has an edge you just lost.
That's a deft bit of maneuvering.
Their third key was having access to land and sea trade routes. Renland and Taza both relied on Enclave trade by land. Either one attempting to cut off caravans would provoke a response from the other. And the Enclave's north was unassailable by sea. That's why they built Cassidon's Hold.
Sharing trade knowledge is your happy place, isn't it, Kaz?
Oh yes. And do you know there's another place that's got 2 of these 3 advantages?
Where?
Your home, Calnhaven.
We don't have access to sea trade. And I wouldn't say we're at peace either. But you're thinking of our steel.
Best in the Maida. And you're the only people who know how to make it. Not only that, But while the Empire would love to put you back under their heel, they can't, can they?
No, because we've started trading with other nations like Renland who wouldn't want to lose access.
That's peace.
So all we need is a port and we could be Enclave the Second?
Pretty much. I'm sure your leaders...
The Adelrad.
Right. Are aware of that. Probably the Empire too. Just fascinating how history repeats.
If we ever get out of here, I'll talk to my mother about this. Show her life on the roads helped me learn some things.
We'll get out. And when we do, you can say a big hello from us all. I've been thinking, maybe with the right person, I might change my mind about raising a family.
Really?
I would do anything for the people I care about. And what scares me about starting a family is the uncertainty of it.
But if you found someone you were certain about?
Someone I know would be a good partner, who would go to the ends of the earth for me and our kids.
Then you could do it.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, if I struggled with feeding for the band's safety, the idea of what my mind might do to me over my own child terrifies me.
The right person won't judge you for that. They'll be patient.
You think so?
I'm sure of it.
It's all just hypothetical anyway. Hey, you got a sec?
Of course.
Great. Mind if we speak somewhere more private?
Lead the way.
Oh. Dans ma tente en plus.
So, there's something I need to tell you.
What's on your mind?
Honestly, you are. And it kind of snuck up on me. I was caught up in my own world before you came along and pulled me out of it. At first, I saw you as a friend, then one day, something just shifted that I can't quite put into words. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I think I'm falling for you.
Ok, il y a de la romance là-dedans. Je savais qu'il y avait du flirting, là. J'avais remarqué. Ouais, oui.
I have feelings for you too.
You do? I thought maybe I'd scared you off with everything.
Kaz, I fight drakes and worms daily. You'll never scare me off. Besides, you're like the kindest, coolest girl I've ever met. How could I not fall for you?
That makes me really happy.
You surprised me too.
Moi, ça paraît dans
In
sa
the
face qu'elle est
best
happy.
way.
Hopefully, we have a long road of surprising one another ahead of us.
We do.
Ah, too cute.
Hey?
Hey, what's new?
Not a thing. Oh, except I don't know if you've heard, but I've got a smoking hot girlfriend now.
Ok, c'est officiel, là.
She sounds great. I have to admit, I'm a little jealous though.
Oh?
Turns out I have a thing for beautiful but kinda mean quartermasters.
That'll bite you in the arse every time. But seriously, I've wanted this for so long. I like you so much. But with all my issues, I couldn't imagine that you'd feel the same way about me. You sure you're not going to change your mind?
Even back when you were giving me the cold shoulder, I couldn't help but notice you. I could just tell there was more to you than meets the eye. I like your complexity.
Ah, elle finit pas sa phrase.
You should probably talk to someone about being attracted to a mean streak. But that is adorable.
I'm not going anywhere. I promise.
Good. I wasn't planning on letting you go anyway.
Bon, ça suffit la romance.
Hey. I just wanted to say, I'm here for you
When I'm ready. I'm still not ready to talk, but thank you.
Fine. Qu'est-ce que c'est de autre? Est-ce que j'ose commencer avec lui?
Why do I feel as if I'm about to have my time wasted?
Wow.
Please allow me to present my research. I promise it won't take but a moment. I've compiled a dossier concerning an event that occurred in the Enclave around 35 years ago.
And what event would that be, pray tell?
The attempt to pierce the veil. I can only assume you were familiar with the Verdant Mines.
The name rings a bell, though it's been decades, as you said.
They were the subject of many of your speeches. It's interesting that your memory on the subject is hazy.
You'll forgive me for not remembering the exact wording or subject of any of the hundreds of speeches I've delivered throughout my career.
That's not a problem. I can summarize my findings. Firstly, our evidence suggests, with a high level of confidence, that you were aware of the Verdant Mines' plans to pierce the veil. Secondly, in support of that assertion, you gained this knowledge through your close relationship with the enchantress known as Lucia.
I never knew any enchantress by that name.
That's odd, since you seem to have been a recurring character in her personal journals. Though, truth be told, she didn't seem particularly fond of you in the later entries. So, back to the attempt to pierce the veil. You knew...
I knew that it would go poorly.
You knew?
Of course I did. But what does it matter?
You could have stopped it.
But I didn't. Pray tell, Lawkeeper, what goal did you hold in your mind as you traveled here?
I wanted to learn the truth about the past, to uncover what had been hidden.
Lane Free Selectis. That's who you are, yes?
That's correct. Though, I'm not sure how... never mind. But my research...
House Lectis of Udea. It's no wonder you felt the need to make something of yourself. Well, today will not be that day. Nor, I believe, will any. I won't waste my breath debating a jumped-up little snot from a house so consumed by cupidity that it can't even keep its hearths lit. Once a failure of a house, always a failure of a house. And it shows in your insipid rag parading as research.
God damn. Shot fired.
Did you just call me a jumped-up little snot?
No, I didn't. You must have misheard me.
I...
Will that be all from you? I have other matters to attend to.
Wait.
Skies! That is enough. Lane deserves better than this disrespect.
You dare to speak of respect? You, who broke into our home, who undid Asylum, who attempts to destroy decades of societal progress.
Hey yo, ça serait pas arrivé si tu nous aurais parlé avant.
I'm trying to help rebuild the Enclave, not destroy it. Self-important jerks like you aren't helping.
I have single-handedly held back the tide of oblivion. I'm not self-important. I'm a damned hero. You and your lackey will remove yourselves from my presence, or I'll call the guards.
Bryn, thanks, but it's not worth it.
I need to go.
Skies above. I was worried this would happen.
Cut. Damn.
I hear you've been accessing our supply caches in the underworks.
Not exactly. I've just been clearing the way for the scouts, as per the Axel's request. She says you've been short on supplies for quite some time.
Then there's no problem at all. Assuming you're telling the truth, that is.
No reason to lie. My band's work with the Axel benefits all of us. She gives us knowledge, and we help out everywhere we can. Win-win.
In time, your true intentions will reveal themselves. And first impressions have not served you well.
Man, il est désagréable.
So the curves of the metal suggest...
I definitely think an enchanter had a hand in this, as well as someone with intimate knowledge of the loom gates.
Those two people could possibly be one person even. Though I can't fathom who it would be.
Keeping yourselves busy, I see?
It's a conundrum for the ages, that's for sure.
Ah, Bryn. You're back.
You've done amazing work with the resonance modulator. I'm certain this will be a turning point for us.
Thanks. But how do you know it worked?
The loom gate started glowing a strange color before you arrived. I took it as a hint that you'd succeeded.
Spoiled the surprise.
I'm sure the Surgeborn will be plenty surprised when they next try to use the loom gates.
Suffice to say, we're thrilled, Bryn. In a short time, you've done a lot to help us. We were, obviously, a little hesitant to trust newcomers.
Our first impression wasn't the best.
But now, we're in a much better situation when it comes to survival.
Happy to have helped. Without you two trusting me, I couldn't have achieved half as much. So, thank you for letting me in. I'm glad to have gotten to know both of you.
It's been my pleasure, Bryn.
Likewise.
So, let's recap for a moment. 1. We've stopped Surgeborn from navigating the Loomgate network by using the resonance modulator. 2. We've made huge leaps forward in regaining control over the Arcs. 3. We've armed and supplied the scouts.
It certainly doesn't cast our last decade of work in a forgiving light, does it?
Listen, you've been surviving this crisis for a long time the only way you knew how. But now you have a path to move forward. Your people can choose to follow it, or dwell on past mistakes. Are we ready to face this threat head-on together?
Yes. You're right. Of course you are. We're at the point, resource-wise, where we can start making moves.
I don't really want to speak to my father right now. But I agree that it's time we put pressure on him to do something. Anything. Regardless of what he does, you've earned our support, Bryn. But first, I'd actually like to steal Hirun for a while, if you don't mind. I have some notes to go over with her.
By all means. Have fun.
D'un escalier.
I suppose I'll just get right to it. Why do you treat me differently?
What do you mean?
Everyone else gets the stern you, the you who's in charge, the Axel. But I get the friendly face, the compliance, this you who I don't understand. Is it because of my dad? Because everyone answers to him? Are you trying to get close to him through me? I can't handle it, Hirun. I need to know that I'm not just being manipulated by everyone around me.
It's not because of that.
Then... what is it?
I spend time around you because I want to see you, to speak with you, to work alongside you, to see the look in your eyes when you solve a problem. Skies, I shouldn't... None of this is... If we could find somewhere else, beyond the gaze of the hold...
Hirun! Stop. Take my hand. And we'll go. I have a place in mind. I didn't see it before, but I think... I would like to tell you of the ways in which you are important to me, too.
Amélioration. Avec toutes ces romances-là, c'est sûr. Le pouvoir de l'amour et de l'amitié. On ne peut que devenir meilleur.
What's going on?
Arik, why don't you fill her in?
Our plan worked. The Eye is mobilizing the scouts for a large-scale attack on the Surgeborn.
I take it the Axle and the Spindle put him up to this?
Yes. Not that Khan Stanild is admitting that. He claims that with the supply shortage taken care of and the Ark restoration underway, now is the time to strike.
And Bryn is receiving due credit for all her work, I'm sure.
No.
So what's his plan?
The scouts will stage a distraction in the underworks, while the Eye and the Spindle do something to the Grand Gate. That's all I know. The Eye wants everyone to convene at Cassidan's hold for a speech to learn more.
He wants us there.
Khan Stanild loves an audience. Doesn't matter who's in it.
I thought you'd be happier about all this.
I have reservations about the Eye launching a plan using my scouts without consulting me.
The reality is, the leader of the Enclave has the power and influence we need to take a stand against the Surgeborn, regardless of how likable the man holding the title may be.
Power and influence, sure, but not the expertise.
We faced down Surgeborn and monsters, repaired lost innovations, and even won over the grumpiest of guild leaders. We're ready for anything, no matter what happens.
It can't hurt to hear his big speech before jumping to conclusions.
I'm here to escort you. Talk to me when you're ready.
Talk to me. Ah, tu vas-tu bien? Tu t'es fait 10 pas mal?
I can't even begin to explain how I feel. This is a disaster.
Did I make it worse?
No. No, not at all. Not for a moment. You were very kind and strong and supportive and courageous. It reminded me of why I left.
Home.
Everything back there was all about your house. Your actions or intent never mattered. And when I tried to forge a different path in life, the knives came out. I had no real choice but to leave. I thought I had left it all in my past. But now, here we are.
I'm really sorry, Lane. It must be hard to be reminded of that. Do you want to talk about it?
I think I need a little while to consider my next move. Maybe a long while. Sorry.
That's all right. I'll be here when you need me.
Thanks, Bryn.
Sup, girlfriend? Oh, 175, 175. Jusqu'à 10. Non, un gros. Ça, plus de stock sur moi. On peut trade supply à cette heure. Ah, avec les ressources. Quand même intéressant. Petite potion de plus. C'est maximum. On n'y est plus. Ben, juste esthétique. What?
Ready to head to Cassidon's Hold?
Un event. Ça fait c'est un event, regarde. Je vais le préparer.
Still need more.
I'm here when
Ok,
you're...
je pense que je vais attendre un peu. Ouais, je pourrais pas jouer assez longtemps. Je sais pas combien de temps que ça pourrait prendre. Ok, ça va compléter la session pour aujourd'hui. Donc, je vous remercie encore pour votre support. Parce que probablement qu'on s'approche de la fin. Peut-être pour ça qu'ils m'ont averti. Donc, prochain live, là, on va essayer. Ben, je vais le compléter. Je vais compléter le jeu. On va pouvoir par la suite probablement directement commencer un nouveau jeu à Vaud. Donc, je vous remercie et je vous dis à la prochaine.